Despite protests and riots ripping the United Kingdom apart, King Charles III has not addressed the public. Why isn't the king talking? In the summer of 2024, the United Kingdom was hit by a wave of violence in the aftermath of an attack in Southport, England, that resulted in the death of 3 young girls. While at a Taylor Swift-themed event, Elsie Stancombe, B.B. King, and Alice De Silva Aguiar lost their lives, and 10 more people were injured during a mass stabbing. False rumors about the perpetrator triggered protests, violence, and rioting across the United Kingdom. The UK hasn't seen this kind of civil unrest in years, and after more than a week of chaos, royal observers have noticed that King Charles III has been strangely silent about the growing problem. Charles and Queen Camilla did post a response to the Southport incident on X, lamenting the tragedy and offering their condolences. But there has been no official words or actions taken by the royal family to cope with or even acknowledge the violent aftermath. And now that King Charles has embarked on his annual summer vacation in Scotland, critics are lambasting the head of state's lack of leadership when said state is in such disarray.
This is the moment where the monarchy does need to come out and say something.
The murders of the 3 victims left the United Kingdom in shock. According to the BBC, a website called Channel 3 Now offered up false information about the attacker that incited the violence attributed to Britain's far-right political faction. Channel 3 Now claimed that the stabber was an asylum seeker who arrived in the country a year ago, when in reality the crime was perpetrated by Axel Rudakabana, the son of Rwandan migrants who was born in Cardiff, Wales. Other sources allege that the assailant was Muslim, which has led to some violence and destruction being aimed at mosques and Islamic communities within the country. Even though these early reports were incorrect, the misinformation spread like wildfire on social media.
People want to know what's going on. People aren't happy.
Understandably, that has left many UK citizens wondering where the royal family is in all of this uproar. Although King Charles III has reportedly had behind-the-scenes conversations about the riots, he has not yet spoken to the British public directly. According to the Telegraph source, King Charles has said that he had been, quote, greatly encouraged by the many examples of community spirit that had countered the aggression and criminality from a few with the compassion and resilience of the many, in telephone conversations with government officials and law enforcement. He also called for unity. To some, it was too little, too late.
We could have done with these words, when the riots were kicking off.
Thankfully, despite the king's absence at present, the country does seem to be taking a stand against the xenophobic violence. King Charles III has largely pulled back from his public life since he was hit with his cancer crisis, and other members of the royal family have stepped in to cover for him amid his diagnosis. Despite his health issues, many have criticized him for remaining out of the spotlight during such a severe nationwide emergency. However, counter-protesters took things into their own hands and came out in support of the United Kingdom's immigrant population. Some anti-racist activists took part in group demonstrations, while others protected mosques and accommodations housing asylum seekers who had been targets of the riots and attacks. Mourners on the ground in Southport also chose more uplifting tributes in remembrance of the victims, as they memorialized those who were killed and injured with flowers and balloons and by blowing bubbles. It remains to be seen if these counter-protests have truly stopped the rioters. According to the BBC, King Charles does not yet have any plans to visit the cities affected by the crisis. Presumably, the condemnation of the king's response won't end until he does something concrete to address or alleviate the discord. If you or a loved one has experienced a hate crime, contact the Victim Connect hotline by phone at 1-855-4VICTIM or by chat for more information or assistance in locating services to help. If you or a loved one are in immediate danger, call 911.